The history we are taught in schools is merely a thin veil over a much more terrifying reality. We are told that World War II was a clash of steel, resources, and politics. But behind the Iron Curtain of Berlin, another war was being waged. A war of shadows, ancient myths, and forbidden sorcery. While the world watched the tanks roll across Europe, Adolf Hitler and his inner circle were looking elsewhere, into the abyss of the unknown. They didn't just want land, they wanted godlike power. They believed that the key to ultimate world domination wasn't hidden in a laboratory, but buried in the ruins of lost civilizations and ancient bloodlines. Welcome to the Abyss Files. Today, we open the most unsettling dossier of the 20th century. This is not a story of generals and strategies. This is the story of a regime that functioned as a death cult. From the frozen peaks of the Himalayas to the secret vaults beneath the streets of Vienna, we are uncovering the Occult War. Brace yourselves, we are about to step into the Nazi void. To understand the madness of the Third Reich, we must travel back to 1918, to a city broken by the First World War, Munich. Inside the smoke-filled rooms of the Four Seasons Hotel, a secret society was born, the Thule Society. This wasn't just a political club, it was a gathering of occultists, archaeologists, and psychics who shared a dangerous obsession, the myth of Hyperborea. They believed in a lost continent in the far north, a home to a race of super beings who possessed Vril, a mysterious energy that granted them control over life and death. Among these fanatics was a failed Austrian painter named Adolf Hitler. Under the tutelage of the Thule Society, Hitler was transformed. He wasn't just a politician, he was being groomed as a messiah to reclaim this lost divine power. The Nazi Party didn't begin with a manifesto, it began with an occult ritual. They wanted to replace Christianity with a dark, pagan religion of blood and soil. And in 1935, Heinrich Himmler, the most obsessed occultist of them all, created the most dangerous organization in human history, the Ahnenerbe. The word Ahnenerbe literally means ancestral heritage. On the surface, it was a research institute for German history. In reality, it was Hitler's private paranormal task force. Himmler poured more money into the Ahnenerbe than the Allies spent on the Manhattan Project. Why? Because they weren't just looking for artifacts, they were looking for the ancient electricity of the gods. The Ahnenerbe's scientists were sent to the four corners of the earth. They were in the Amazon searching for the lost city of gold. They were in Iraq digging for Sumerian secrets of longevity. They believed that the Aryan race was descended from giants who fell from the stars, and that their ancient technology was scattered across the globe, waiting to be reactivated. Inside their headquarters at Wewelsburg Castle, the SS performed rituals that would make most modern horror movies look tame. They were attempting to measure the soul and communicate with the dead. But their most ambitious mission would take them to the roof of the world, a place they believed held the entrance to a subterranean kingdom, Tibet. In 1938, a special SS expedition arrived in Lhasa. Their goal was simple yet insane: to find the legendary city of Shambhala. According to ancient lore, Shambhala was a hidden paradise where the kings of the world resided, guarding secrets of advanced weaponry and immortality. The Nazis believed that if they could align themselves with these underground rulers, Germany would become invincible. They spent months measuring the heads of Tibetan monks, convinced they found the descendants of the Hyperboreans. But what did they truly find in those ancient monasteries? Some say they brought back more than just scrolls. They brought back a cursed knowledge that would lead to the development of the most mysterious Nazi weapon of all, Die Glocke, the bell. As the Allied forces began to close in on Germany, the Nazi desperation shifted from the mystical to the mechanical. In a secret facility known as Der Riese, the Giant, near the Czech border, the Ahnenerbe's most classified project was reaching its peak. It was called Die Glocke, the bell. This wasn't a weapon of ballistics. According to leaked documents and the testimony of SS General Jakob Sporenberg, Die Glocke was a device made of heavy metal, standing 15 feet tall, filled with a violet, mercury-like substance codenamed Serum 525. What was its purpose? Some scientists believe it was an experiment in anti-gravity. Others suggest something far more terrifying, a bridge through time itself. Witnesses reported that when the bell was activated, plants in the vicinity would dissolve into a black liquid, and 5 of the 7 scientists working on the project died of radiation-like symptoms that defied medical explanation. The Nazis weren't just trying to win a war. They were trying to rewrite the laws of physics to escape their inevitable defeat. But when the Red Army finally reached the facility, the bell and the scientists had vanished without a trace. It remains the greatest unsolved mystery of Nazi technology. While the scientists worked on the bell, Hitler's personal obsession remained fixed on a single object, the Spear of Destiny. Legend says this is the very spear used by the Roman centurion Longinus to pierce the side of Jesus Christ on the cross. For centuries, a prophecy followed the spear. He who possesses this spear holds the destiny of the world in his hands, for good or evil. In 1938, minutes after annexing Austria, Hitler's first move wasn't a military one. He went straight to the Hofburg Museum in Vienna. He didn't want the gold or the jewels. He wanted the spear. Eyewitnesses claim that Hitler stood before the relic for over an hour, falling into a deep trance. He believed that the spear granted him invincibility. For years, as Germany conquered nation after nation, it seemed the prophecy was true. But on April 30th, 1945, at 2:10 p.m., American soldiers officially seized the spear from a hidden vault in Nuremberg. Less than 90 minutes later, in a bunker in Berlin, Adolf Hitler took his own life. The spear had found a new master, and the man who thought he was a god proved to be nothing more than a mortal consumed by his own shadows. The war ended in May 1945, but for the Abyss Files, the story doesn't end in the ruins of Berlin. Thousands of high-ranking Nazi officials and occult scientists were never found. Where did they go? In 1947, Admiral Richard Byrd led a massive U.S. military expedition to Antarctica called Operation High Jump. It was supposed to be a scientific mission, but it returned early with reports of flying discs that could travel from pole to pole at incredible speeds. Rumors began to circulate about Base 211, a secret Nazi fortress hidden deep within the hollow ice of the South Pole. Did the Ahnenerbe find the entrance they were looking for? Did the technology from the bell allow them to build a sanctuary where the Occult War continues to this day? Some say the war never ended, it just went underground. The Nazi pursuit of the supernatural is a chilling reminder of what happens when absolute power meets absolute madness. They searched for the divine, but only found the demonic. They looked for immortality, but left behind a trail of death that scarred the world forever. The files we've opened today are just the beginning. The shadows of the Third Reich still linger in the classified basements of intelligence agencies and the whispered legends of the occult. I'm your host for The Abyss Files. If you have the courage to look deeper into the dark corners of history, subscribe and join us. But remember, when you gaze long into the abyss also gazes into you. See you in the next file.